Coming to paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, A Thorn in My Side. The man who rules the world takes on an agent from the CIA from the Black Boule in this action-packed all-new John Haynes series adventure. Pre-order your copy of John Haynes' A Thorn in My Side at Amazon.com and other online booksellers. One of my viewers wanted to know how someone starts a career in a creative field. Now, creative fields are ones like entertainment, publishing, or fashion, and usually people who want to enter these creative fields, they oftentimes come into these fields not knowing how the business works. Now, I have been aspiring to be a writer ever since I was 9 years old, and I wound up publishing over 80 books over the course of my 30-year career as a writer, and breaking into this creative field was something that I wound up doing by starting out going out on my own. Now, when it comes to coming into these creative fields, you have to know that you have to develop some intangibles as related to your character before you start entering into these creative fields, because these creative fields are very rough businesses, and with them being extremely rough businesses, the first thing you have to develop before you even start entering into these fields is you have to go out here and develop a thick skin. And you have to develop a thick skin in order to take all of the criticism that you are going to receive from people in these fields. You're going to have to deal with a lot of people who are not going to receive your work in a positive light, and you're going to have to also deal with constructive criticism from people in these fields and understand that these people are coming in many cases from an objective perspective. And with these people coming from an objective perspective, when they criticize your work, they are criticizing your work based on their years of experience and their years of experience of seeing material and seeing it from an objective perspective. And when they give you criticism, what they want to see is you improve as related to your craft. So you need that thick skin so that you don't take their criticism personally. And that's the first thing you have to develop before you even think about entering any creative field, is you're going to have to again develop that thick skin as related to hearing criticism, because criticism is a part of this business, and you're not going to hear a lot of praise in the beginning, because to many seasoned professionals, they see you basically as a greenhorn, and as a greenhorn, you're somebody who they're looking to again help you develop in your craft, and they want to see how open you are to hearing their criticisms so that you can go out here and learn and develop and grow in your craft. Now, in addition to developing that thick skin as related to constructive criticism, you also have to learn how to deal with rejection, because in these businesses of creative fields such as publishing or film or fashion, and even things like acting and other professions, you're going to hear a lot of people saying no in the beginning, and you're going to hear people saying no more than your name. And your response to those people saying no is not you going out here and getting personal. You have to be professional about the way you behave, and part of being professional is understanding you can't take it personal when somebody says no to you, because rejection is a part of the business, especially with this business being extremely competitive. With this business being extremely competitive, you have thousands or even hundreds of thousands of people going out here and vying for these jobs, and with hundreds of thousands of people vying for these jobs, it's basically 1,000,000 to 1 shot that you actually get one of these jobs. And with these odds being so high against most creative people, again, when you go out here and enter these creative fields, this is not something you're going to expect to make a lot of money at in the beginning. And this is where I advise many people who have ambitions to be a part of a creative field, to basically have a plan to fall back on an actual career. You want to have a plan to fall back on an actual career because you're going to need a day job in order to be able to have the capital to go out here and develop things like being able to print your manuscripts or the supplies to make your art, or to be able to take classes for acting, take classes for dancing, take classes for learning how to do different sewing patterns, or even get the material and fabric for your fashions. I mean, you're going to need capital to be able to finance this dream, and you're going to need to be able to get yourself a day job that allows you to cover your bills. Now, you've heard a lot of people sitting there talking about how they worked as waitresses, or they worked at different types of part-time jobs with flexible schedules, but I advise most people out here that you need a better job than that. No, what you need to do is focus on developing an actual career in a field, and that's what I was looking to do. As I came out of high school, my goal was to go to college, and I majored in business. And my goal was to go out here and get one of these office jobs, work that 9 to 5. And as I was working the 9 to 5 on my evenings and my weekends, my own time, my plan was to go out here in the 90s and go out here and just take those nights and weekends and write my stories in that time. And that was my plan in the beginning, because I always saw how this business worked. I studied the entertainment industry for over 25 years, and the whole thing is you need to be able to have that day job that it covers your bills and also provides you the capital to be able to finance your projects or finance your courses that you want to take. So these are the things that you need to be able to pay for, and you need a good day job, and again, a good day job to fall back on. And this is why I advise people to, again, go to college and not just major in something like theater or art, but, take those classes on the side if you're going to school, and take a major in something serious like business, or take a profession like teaching, or take a profession like law, or medicine, or engineering. Take one of those professions, get your degree in that, or go out here and get in a skilled trade like going out here and working on cars or something like that. You want to be able to create a base of revenue for yourself, because one of the things that is about these whole creative fields is that these creative fields, again, in addition to them being extremely competitive and them being million to one shots, is that you need a lot of capital to be able to continue maintaining this path. You need a lot of capital to be able to maintain this path. So you got to make sure that your paper is taken care of, and you got to make sure that your paper is taken care of in order to continue running your operations of looking to be a part of creative. And as you go out here and have that day job, one of the things you have to understand is you got to take care of your job. Take care of your job, because while you're pursuing your path and your passion as related to this whole creative field, you want to be able to go out here and take care of your job, because your job is how you're going to make your living. Your job is how you're going to go out here and make your money. It's going to be how you pay your bills. And you have to go out here and protect your job, because that's how you're going to be able to finance whatever you're going to operate as related to your overall quest to, again, enter this creative field. And as you're working in this professional job, you're going to be, again, working on your projects on your evenings and your weekends. And sometimes, in order for you to be able to do these projects, what you're going to have to do is be able to manage your time. This is something a lot of creatives have to, that's a major struggle, because, yeah, you want to go out here and hang out with your friends. You want to go out here and go to the party. You want to go out here and possibly even get with the fly girls. But when it comes to your career as a creative, there's something you're going to have to do, and that is make sacrifices. Make sacrifices of certain things in your life if you want to do things as related to being a part of a creative field. You're going to have to go out here and make sacrifices of things in order to again be able to have the time just to create, and further as you advance to get those opportunities. And you have to start learning to make those sacrifices as related to getting your goal, setting goals and getting those goals met. This is something that I had to do ever since my days when I was in college, where I remember one time my family member, we wanted to go to the New York International Toy Fair to check out all the action figures, and I remember one day being sick and I couldn't go, and I also had classes, and I couldn't go to the toy fair that year. It was 1993, and I had to miss out on the toy fair because I was sick, and I also had classwork to do, so I had to make that sacrifice in order to be able to achieve my goals so I could graduate from college and get my degree. And I also remember having a birthday in 1994 where I needed to go get my books, and I had to sacrifice celebrating my birthday in 1994. I think it was my 21st birthday, and I had to sacrifice that because I needed to get my books that Saturday. And again, these are the kind of sacrifices that a guy or a girl has to make as related to being a creative. You have to go out here and again make these sacrifices because there are things that you want to achieve, and because you have those goals, you want to again achieve those goals, and you don't want to wind up losing out on those goals. So you have to decide what's more important, things that are social or achieving your goals. And that takes it back to the next point, which is, again, you have to have a goal that you want to set as related to where you want to go as a creative. Because as a creative, again, you are the one basically in charge of your career. You are the one in charge of where things are going, because you're not, again, working for anyone in the beginning. You're basically a freelancer at this point. And as a freelancer, you have to set goals of what type of work you want to do, and where you want to go as related to where your career is going to go as a creative. Now, as a creative, again, as you're out here working on your projects and working on your goals, then after you work on your goals, you have to, again, make as part of your goals, find out where you want people to, again, see your work, because that when it comes to these creative fields, in addition to them being very competitive, there's a strict protocol to these businesses, and you just can't come in from the cold. Usually that's not a way to go out here and get people to look at your work. You really have to know how the written, unwritten, and written social rules of the business in order to get noticed by these professionals. Now, back in the 90s, one of the things that I did was do the research and find out how things worked as related to my field, because I wanted to be a writer ever since I was about 9 years old. I wanted to be a writer who would be published, and I had to learn the procedures and the protocols of the business in order to get the attention. And one of the things I had to learn was follow the rules as related to publishing, because back then in the 90s, you had to send out query letters to different publishers and literary agents, and you had to follow the protocol, or you would wind up getting basically ignored. So that's one of the things you have to do, because it's a part of it is what you know, but another part is who you know, because if you want to, again, enter these fields, there's a protocol for things, but you have to know how to not only send out your queries and show that you're going to follow professional protocol, but you also have to develop good interpersonal skills. You have to develop very good interpersonal skills and learn how to network, because again, it's not just what you know, it's who you know as well. And sometimes going to different events will allow you to go out here and meet different people, and that's a big part of being in a creative field. You have to go out here and make contacts with people. You have to make lots of contacts with people and start developing professional relationships. That's something you have to do. And it's something that you have to do in order to, again, get those opportunities or get people to take a look at your work. Is you've got to go out here and not only be professional and be respectful of people, but you also have to go out here and follow the protocols, because in order to get your work noticed, you have to, again, know how to work with people. And part of knowing how to work with people is, again, showing people respect, and also going out here and showing professionalism as related to your behavior, because that's how people can say, okay, we can trust this guy because he's going to, again, be professional in the way that he carries and conducts himself. He's going to be professional, be respectful, and go out here and carry and conduct himself in a respectable manner. And since we know that he's not going to be acting funny, we can trust him as related to working with him. And that's what people want to see in a professional. And that's part of building your professional image and your professional reputation. And again, this is something that you do when you go out here and network. And the places you network are places like, for example, I wanted, in addition to working in trade publishing, I wanted to work in comics, and part of that is you got to network at places like Comic-Cons, talking to comic creators and talking to different people in editorial. That there's a whole networking process to it if you wanted a job in that field, and you have to, again, that's part of it, because there's a lot of interpersonal stuff there, and you have to build those relationships with people in order to get your name out there and get your name out there, because you are the business. And you also have to, if you're going out here and having that business, have a place where people can see your work, and like a blog or a website. Some people have official websites. I myself have a blog which basically shows where all my books are, and I just can't rely on one thing. I just can't rely on that blog as related to, again, getting the word out about my products. No, and my business. No, I have to go out here and talk to people just like I'm talking to you right now on social media. This is what the viewer wanted to know as related to creative fields. You have to really let people, again, know about your work as related to the website. And again, the website basically is a calling card as related to what your work is. And it, like my blog basically has all of my books on it. It has lots of sample chapters, and it even has videos of content that I create. It's a platform where there's basically everything on the platform to let you know my list of published works, sample chapters of my published works, sample chapters of my screenplays, sample chapters of my comic book scripts. All of that material is there for anybody to peruse, and I also have that material on other social media platforms. And if you're a creative, you definitely need to be on social media platforms like LinkedIn, like I would even say Facebook or Instagram, with professional pictures of your work. You really want to make sure that everything is focused on keeping people focused on what you present from a professional perspective, and present from a professional perspective, and show people a showcase of your work so that they can see what your skills are and what you have to offer them. You really, again, when it comes to your web presence, want to have a very professional web presence. Don't make it too personal. I try not to make it too personal. I really want people focused on the kind of stories that I write and the kind of techniques that I use for writing. That's what I have as related to my websites, as related to my social media. I usually just on X do a lot of book promotion, on Facebook do a lot of book promotion, and on YouTube I talk about a variety of topics to show how well versed I am and how articulate I am, and how basically it's just like the books that I write. So I want people to see that I, as a professional, again, I can present myself in an intelligent manner, and what you see in the books is a reflection of me. So when it comes to creative fields, you want to, again, make sure that your web presence basically shows how you are reflected as a professional. You want to show people how your work is presented, because this is how you're going to book other jobs. And again, this is how you're going to book jobs as related to the future, because in these creative fields, if you do get work, you're only as good as your last project. And if your last project really wasn't one that was one people really enjoyed, then it's going to be harder for you to get that work. And again, you want to be able to just keep getting work, keep getting projects booked, because that's how you're going to make money on the side. Because when it comes to creative fields, this is not a full-time job. No, this is not something you're going to be doing full-time in the beginning. No, this is something, if you do start booking work, it's something you're going to do part-time. You're going to keep your full-time job with your full health benefits, with your full paycheck. You want to be able to keep that money flowing. You want to keep that money flowing, because when it comes to these projects, again, the money from them in the beginning is going to be small, and usually is small. I mean, I've seen a lot of writers sit there who write genre fiction like romance, and genre fiction like fantasy and science fiction. They basically, again, this is side money to them. A lot of these people have day jobs where they're working in an office, and they basically take their evenings and their weekends, write these stories in about 6 months to a year, and after writing them, they basically get the advance, get paid, and the book, if it sells 6,000 copies, they're cool, and they keep it pushing. Because when it comes to, again, these type of fields, the money is very erratic, and again, the odds are of you going out here and having a career where you're going to make the six figures is very low. So what you're going to do as related to these creative fields is just focus on making the money that you're going to make, focus on getting your name out there as related to your projects, but that you want to, again, focus on making sure your day job is taken care of, because the money you're going to make on this type of creative field, you're going to make, again, very little money, but you'll get a lot of personal satisfaction. I mean, you'll get a lot of personal satisfaction as related to creative fields, but you're not going to be making those big money. I mean, the people like J.K. Rowling are the exception and not the rule. But because most genre writers out here, again, they make maybe every $5,000-$10,000 on a book, and sometimes they make maybe, it depends again on the book, whether it's genre fiction or even a commercial fiction. Again, there's not that much money in that, and as related to other creative fields, again, you make okay money, but you get to work on great projects. I mean, you'll have a great time working on these projects as you work your way up. But don't get stars in your eyes. Again, this is a rough road. And again, it becomes a lot rougher if you start getting in your feelings and start quitting your job and saying, I'm going to go out here and focus on this full time. Because sometimes you'll get on these jobs and people will start getting jealous, start hating on you. And that's another thing that you have to understand as a creative. You're going to have a lot of haters. You're going to have a lot of haters because people, again, they get jealous of your talent and your ability. And sometimes when you're out here, if you're a creative, you've got to learn to keep things close to the vest as related to your projects. You've got to learn to keep things very close to the vest as related to your projects and not say much about stuff. I mean, if you've got stuff going on, you basically want to keep it quiet, because sometimes a lot of bosses start to get mad when they hear, oh, this guy's writing a book. That's what I ran into when I was working at City College. This professor, again, here's a guy with a doctorate degree, possibly making six figures, the head of a library department, and he's getting all bitter and salty because I self-published a print-on-demand book. This is before I started SJS Direct, and getting salty. And again, because some people don't like the idea of you being a creative. They don't like the idea of hearing you about you working on your goals because they're too afraid to go out and work on their goals. They're too afraid to make the time to work on their goals. And they get mad when they see you going out here and having a passion, having an interest in something, having a care about something. They get upset when they see you out here pursuing your dreams. And these people basically, again, they look to cut you down. And you'll run into these people in both friends and family. So if you're out here and again pursuing this goal, you have to find, again, a support base of people who basically are going to support you as related to pursuing those dreams. And you have to, again, as you're out here, have that discipline and resolve to persevere as related to those dreams. You have to have that discipline and resolve to continue pushing and continue towards pushing towards the goals you want to pursue as related to this dream of, again, entering these creative fields. And as someone who has, again, pursued his dream of being a writer ever since I was 9 years old, I can tell you, yeah, you're going to run into a lot of resistance. You're going to run into a lot of resistance like I did from people saying, oh, you're acting white, you're talking white, or people saying that, oh, you shouldn't be trying to be a writer, that is not going to make a lot of money. Well, I didn't do this just for the money. I did this because I had a passion for writing, and as I saw things like the media and the image of black people, I wanted to create positive stories that featured black people. And as I continued doing that type of fiction, I also saw the issues as related to men, and I wanted to write books on men's issues. So I was out here and again pursuing my passion. And even though I lost my job at City College, I wanted to follow God and keep going. He told me to keep going, so I continued to persevere. I continued to persevere as related to pursuing my goals and continue pursuing my goals to the point where I've had 15 years running my own publishing imprint, and I've had over a decade basically making YouTube videos like this, encouraging other creators to go out here and pursue their dreams and helping those people who are creatives, helping them understand that as related to things, you have to have, again, that good job. You have to be able to have that foundation for an education to fall back on and a career and a craft to fall back on as you pursue these crafts as related to the arts. You have to begin to have that all there because you need to find a way to make a living and finance things because everything is going to be financed by you. Again, this is you on your own. And you have to be able to, again, take care of your business. And if you're out here persevering, people will notice you. The right people will notice you if God is working with you. And hopefully you'll be able to go out here and get some good breaks here like I have, as related to things, because as I was working out here, people started to notice my work, especially when I did my Sean James Black Freelance Writer blog. I mean, I got that blog up to about 2 million hits before I came over to YouTube. And as I came over to YouTube, people noticed my channel as I talked about different topics as I was promoting my books, like when I started promoting my books as related to the ISIS series, the Steam series, and the John Hayes series, and my men's issues books. As I started promoting my work, people noticed me, started asking me to come on to live streams as related to promoting my work. And again, you will get these opportunities, and a lot of times you won't appreciate these opportunities or even see them sometimes. Sometimes you won't see how an opportunity will have an impact on your overall professional reputation or your overall brand of product. I mean, sometimes you won't see it for years because you're just so busy working on things. You're so busy working on things that you don't see those opportunities. And sometimes when you get an opportunity, again, you have to make that sacrifice to do things. I mean, a lot of times I would sacrifice time out of my day as related to, again, projects that I was pursuing. I mean, sometimes I'd have books, sometimes I'd be wanting to work on a book, but I would sacrifice that time to do a guest spot on a live stream. Sometimes I would be out here And again, I would have to sacrifice time as related to doing different things. And when the opportunities come, you just have to take them in most cases, because sometimes you don't see where an opportunity can have a big impact. I remember one time there was a girl at my college, and she asked me to help her with her book. And helping that girl with her book, I was actually helping someone who worked with one of the presidents of the college, and that was a shocker to me, because I was just like, okay, I see this young sister, I see she want to write a book, and I just decided to give her a hand with that book. And again, you don't know, sometimes those little things turn into something big and help you build relationships with people. And I still have good relationships with the people at my college even after that, and that was about 10 years ago. But the whole thing is, you have to go out here and be able to, again, be professional, be respectful of people. This is something that I have been ever since about 1998, since I entered the world of publishing and as related to getting serious about things. And you have to be professional, respectful of people, because a lot of times when you're being respectful of people, they will appreciate that respect and the gratitude that you've shown them, and open the door to other opportunities. This is what can happen again in this business, but the whole thing is, things are going to go real slow. That's another thing I want the viewer to understand. This is not going to happen real fast, because the whole thing is, this is a business, and you have to learn how the business works, how people work in the business. There's a lot that you're going to have to learn about things. And again, this is a long haul. Like I said in that first book I wrote, I bought a book called Writer's Guide to Publishers, Book Editors, and Literary Agents. I bought that book in 1998. I bought it from a Barnes & Noble in the Manhattan Mall. And that was the book that I used to, again, start my publishing career. And back then, the guy, Jeff Smith, who wrote it, he said that, this is a long haul. It's not for greenhorns. It's not for rookies. And I've seen it in websites all the time. I remember a couple of websites, they'll tell you, again, as related to publishing, and again, these creative fields, this is a long haul. And if you've got to build up, again, that thick skin and resolve, because you're going to have to need it to persevere. And this, again, is not for the guys who have a thin skin or want stuff to happen fast. And that's why you need your day job, and you need to keep your day job, and keep your day job to be your priority. And that's what I did at all of my jobs, whether it's been City College of New York, or jobs like AmeriCorps Vista, or working at a law firm. Again, I always tried to make those jobs a priority and tried to learn the most about the business to keep that day job, because this is a million to one shot. This is a long haul. And again, if you do make it, you should thank God because you've been blessed. You should thank God that you've been blessed, because these creative fields have intense competition, and you need to understand that, again, it's a miracle to make it, but you can make it. But you have to understand that you're going to be on a long road and a long haul, and you better just be getting ready to tighten your chin strap, because this is the start of a very rough road. Now, I hope this helps out the viewer who requested this video, and if you want to request a video, you can send a donation for a minimum of $15 to the PayPal or the Cash App by clicking the link in the description box, and if I know something about that subject, I will make that video for you. And if you want to check out many of the books I've published over the last about 20 years as I've been working to build the SJS Direct imprint, you can find all of those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them at other online booksellers like Draft to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, ISIS Legacy. The sorority secrets of the goddess next door are revealed in this all-new ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS Legacy in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere.
Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.